The attack originated from the Bulgarian sector on the NY-Beulah transit line. We traced the digital fingerprints back to a single IP address, 93.123.109.205. Over a very short window, exactly 26,323 data packets slammed into the network perimeter. An automated system executed this mechanical siege against port 8080, a common gateway for web services. So the security analysts watching the logs, an event of this scale looks like a sheer wall of data rain. Their job is to stand in that downpour and isolate the actual threat from the static. That creates a massive engineering challenge. To defend a modern network, you have to rapidly sift through tens of thousands of automated, simultaneous lies to find the one line of code designed to kill the system. This chart compares our suspect IP against standard traffic. VirusTotal flagged it with 11 detections, and Abuse IPDB gave a 100% malice score. Within 26,000 packets, the attacker tested 1,257 unique URIs, hiding 191 distinct exploit signatures. We call this a mechanical scattergun attack. The attacker loads up every exploit they have and fires them all at once into the digital mud. A targeted attack carefully probes for a specific weakness and exploits it quietly. This attacker replaced precision with sheer volume. The math of the scattergun is simple. By overwhelming the perimeter sensors with chaotic data, the attacker hopes that just one of those 191 random signatures will happen to match an unpatched vulnerability on the server. To understand the lethality of the attack, we can pull a single malicious payload out of that chaotic flood and put it under the microscope. One of those payloads was wrapped in an OGNL injection. Object Graph Navigation Language Injection is an exploit where an attacker forces a web application to execute malicious code by manipulating expression language inputs. When we decode that garbled OGNL string, the true intent is exposed. Hidden inside the noise was the command exec who am I. That command asks the server to identify its current user privileges. By attempting to execute it right in the memory stack, the attacker bypasses standard perimeter firewalls and runs code in the exact place the host system assumes is secure. The scattergun noise on the outside was just cover. The payloads hidden underneath were designed to compromise the system directly and fatally. If that execution had worked, the next step would be dropping web shells into the server. A web shell is a malicious script deployed on a compromised web server to grant an attacker persistent, remote administrative access. The logs showed the attacker attempting an out-of-band application security testing callback. They tried to cast a network leash back to an external node, interact.sh. Simultaneously, the logs bled with path traversals. Path traversal is a vulnerability that allows an attacker to manipulate file paths and read hidden directories outside the public web folder. This attacker was actively hunting for the /etc/password and win.ini files. Those specific files contain core configuration data and user account details. Extracting them provides the data needed to impersonate users and bypass local security restrictions. The Wraith sought to strip the system's credentials and establish permanent, untraceable puppetry over the network. 26,323 distinct requests hit the perimeter. 1,257 unique URIs were tested, and the final number of successful breaches was 0. The defense systems mapped the incoming traffic against known threat intelligence, recognized the malicious suricata signatures, and locked the vault before a single payload could execute in the memory stack. The attacker had scale, automation, and patience. They tested every door and window on the perimeter. The wall held anyway. Defending against these strikes requires security teams to parse the noise, track path traversals, and turn raw data rain into actionable intelligence. When you can visually isolate the real threat buried inside 26,000 lies, you close the case on today's attack and secure the network against the next ghost.